clearly they're celebrating and they are keen to make their mark on German politics.
Und jetzt bei uns im Studio Sertaç Aktan, Journalist des türkischen Teams hier bei Euronews. Er lebt in Brüssel und berichtet seit mehr als 10 Jahren über europäische Politik. Er hat auch ein Buch darüber.
So now we have a journalist from the Turkish team joining us in the studio now. He's written a book about whether Turkey will become a member of the European Union.
Good evening.
Thank you.
We just had the first polls coming in, so what is your reaction?
Well, apparently it was expected of CDU to get 36% on the polls. It get 33, and AfD get 13, and it was expected 10. So we know where those 3 points now came from. I mean, my view, of course. We see that there's a negative slide going from 42 to 33 now, but still leading. That was also expected.
For the Conservatives.
For the Conservatives. Yeah. This is a trend we see all over Europe. In France, the same with Le Pen. In Netherlands, it's the same. In America, everywhere around the world, this trend is rising far right. Mostly, we know the reason it's immigration, but economy was always there. Now, we cannot say that for Germany, can we? Because Germany is on a position where economy is actually doing fine. So we have to rule it out. So we have to focus. And where did most of the migrants go? They want to go. They went to Germany, and Merkel had an open door policy on that. So probably she's paying for that policy.
So now she pays for her decision in summer 2015.
I cannot just say specifically for that decision. I can say it's the major, probably played the major role, but it is it's a known fact that people, although they like the politics, although they like stability, they get tired of the face, of the voice, of the same personality. Change is inevitable, and people, although they like the comfort of what's going on, they still like change. They still would like to see some change. So that may also play some role. But what we need to focus, I think, at this point is the coalition. How the coalition will take place, I think, what everybody is focusing on now.
Yeah, I mean, that will be the big question, and I think we will talk a lot about that.
That is the €1 million question.
Yes, I don't know who will earn this 1 million. But let's focus on Turkey and Germany. The relationship between Turkey and Germany has been very complicated these past months, to say the least. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan advised Turks living in Germany not to vote for the Conservatives, the Social Democrats or the Greens, declaring that these parties were enemies of Turkey. Do you think they listened?
Yes, to answer this question, I would like to first give a glance of what the traditional voter in Germany is. The majority of Turkish diaspora living in Europe are on the right spectrum of politics, we have to say. The ones that came in the 1950s, 60s, from rural areas, small cities, with traditional lifestyles. Those norms and values they brought together. And, conservative, nationalist, religious, etc. And we all know this phenomenon called the time bubble effect, which occurs in immigrant ghettos. So the first and second generation passed on these strong roots and culture of right-wing worldview to the third and fourth generation, not 10 generations past. So they're still alive and passing on. However, there is a second phenomenon, which is also very well documented, I must say, that the same diaspora, same people, tend to support the parties in the left spectrum of the politics in Europe.
So they have conservative values, but when it comes to vote,
they tend to support left. Now, this is due to very pragmatic reasons, I must say. Socialists, Greens, liberals, their immigration policies, their tolerance towards minorities, their social security policies, their unemployment policies. So these all play important, very important factors. So it's rather pragmatic than ideological. And it is this pragmatism, and on top of that, of course, the lack of alternative in the German political arena for Turks to support, brings us to we cannot say any type of call coming from Turkey or anywhere else. It makes us believe, this pragmatism makes us believe that it wouldn't drastically, significantly affect the voting behavior. We believe Turks will continue as their similar voting behavior. And even if it did, even if this call made an effect, it would hurt Social Democrats and Greens and not Merkel's party CDU. So in the foreseeable future of German and Turkey relations, we cannot say that much will change, evidently.
During the campaign, German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the leader of the Social Democrats, Martin Schulz, did agree on one point, that they were against an EU membership for Turkey, and they wanted to stop the negotiations. How do Turks feel about that, and also how do Turks living in Europe feel about that?
Yes, that happened. Listen, the real question here has always been actually who is going to pull the plug. It is no secret that both parties, both sides, want to get rid of this negotiation process. It is true that it worked well in both parties' self-interest in the beginning and for some time that AKP government used this process to gain more, to widen its support base in Turkey and to gain more legitimacy, to do the necessary reforms, to have a more civilian authority in Turkey against military. And Europe used it to have Turkey on a loop where it does not derail and cause harm and become another problematic country in the region. But now that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. But I would say Merkel and Schulz's positions were not identical. Merkel still believes, I think, to keep Turkey on hold rather than totally let go, totally out. However, this is perceived a bit problematic. You see, 6-7 years ago, when Erdogan and his government were full on throttle doing reforms and opening chapters, some countries like France, Greek Cypriots, they blocked chapters, many chapters, and for no reason, just political reasons. And at that point, Europe could have right now a total moral high ground. But it doesn't. It is due to that. What Turkey is and isn't, or could, couldn't, or wouldn't do, became irrelevant, secondary at least. So this argument has been used by the ruling elite in Turkey for a long time. And I must say it is an effective argument, not just for Erdogan supporters, but for many groups in Turkey, in the Turkish society.
Okay. German journalist Dennis Yücel is in Turkish prison and awaiting trial since February this year. He is in Germany the best known case, but at least 10 other Germans are in Turkish prisons. Angela Merkel said that that she wanted his freedom, but that it's complicated. And so are Dennis Yücel and all the other prisoners, are they pawns in a political game? Very short answer.
Of course, these things should never be anywhere in the world a part of a political game. But it seems a bit that way. There is no denying in, I must say, how impressively creative charges can get in Turkey on journalists these days, and how definition of terrorism and terrorist and support to terrorism can be bent to the daily needs of the ruling elite. However, we still need to see the other side too. Some political games are also in place in Germany. For example, Erdogan asked for, also personally asked to Merkel to do something about, you remember these Turkish authorities, even prime minister, minister level, wanted to do speeches and meetings in Germany, but can't find places to do it. Everybody believed Merkel could solve that issue, but Merkel said, sorry, it's not up to me. So, unfortunately, irrelevant people, I mean, this game has been ongoing for some time. Who started it, who has the told to whole truth? Unfortunately, irrelevant situation, and people became tools and pawns.
Yes. So it will continue?
It seems so.
In the foreseeable future?
It seems so, yes.
Thank you, Sertaç Aktan. Thank you for this interview. Liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, das war unser Interview mit dem türkischen Euronews-Journalist Sertaç Aktan. Und jetzt geht es
So that was the Turkish Euronews journalist Sertaç Aktan.